loves, and welcome back to the Power for Good podcast. I'm Christina Ray, and I am so happy to be here with you today. I haven't done a solo cast in a while because I've been moving. I have moved out of Miami and onto a farm. So, following my spirit, following my heart, and it has led me here today to talk with you about anxiety, my lifelong struggle and peace. Finally arrived at peace with anxiety. So, what I'm going to talk about today is my story with anxiety, but also I want to define really what is anxiety, how I've come to know it, and share with you at the end some practices on how to deal with anxiety and how to find your peace with anxiety, and even download some messages from our body. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, with your chest heavy, finding it hard to breathe? That's anxiety. And I have many times woken up like this. I still do, because our mind, it never shuts off. And when our mind should be resting, it's actually still at work. I recently woke up in the middle of the night with a full-on panic attack. Moving can cause these kinds of things to happen, for sure. However, since I practice breath work daily and I have my rituals and my tools ready to go, I was able to come back to my breathing and calm my nervous system down with a calming breathwork practice. After about 5 minutes of my 4-7-8 breathing, my heart slowed, my nervous system relaxed, my mind stopped overanalyzing the shit out of everything, and I finally accepted the fact that I was not having a heart attack and everything was okay. We were safe. We're safe. Body and mind, we're okay. I've had anxiety for as long as I can remember, but it got really bad when I entered my teenage years. I can recall exactly when I became a freshman in high school. This is when I really started to feel it. And I was bullied as a freshman. I was bullied even before that, but it got really bad when I entered high school by the older girls in my school. And I didn't really know it at the time, but the reason that they bullied me was because I was beautiful. I did not feel that at the time. I felt scared, shamed, guilty. I felt anxious, stressed, horrified. And in fact, all these things led to me really hating myself. I hated everything about myself. And in that hate, there was so much turmoil and so much anxiety. And I constantly felt a pit in the bottom of my stomach and a heaviness in my chest, which only really grew as I grew, as I got older. And this led to me eventually entering into a really toxic relationship. And in this toxic relationship, well, I started dating a guy who was much older than me, who was a drug addict, a drug dealer, who was very abusive. And I thought I loved him. First of all, because we started doing drugs. And there's nothing like ecstasy to make you believe that you love someone. But also because in a way, he offered me safety. He offered me love, acceptance, the acceptance that I wasn't giving myself, the love that I wasn't giving myself, the love that I felt that I couldn't really get from my peers, the acceptance. And when I was with him, when we were using, when I was at his house, I felt less anxious. And it's a little bit of a double-edged sword because, yeah, when we were high, when we were drinking, I felt better. I felt like, oh, maybe this is my family. Maybe this is the tribe I've always been looking for. But then he was crazy, emotionally abusive. And this only started to add more to my anxiety, to my stress, and to me actually hating myself. So I would go home and I would question everything. And I would sit alone in my dark closet. I always sat in my closet for some odd reason and sit with my thoughts and be overcome with this pit at the bottom of my stomach. So much so until it literally led me to hurting myself. The emotions were so much for me at that time that I felt like there was nothing I could do. I had no control. The anxiety, all of it was too much, that the only thing that made me feel better, which I eventually clung to and found, was harming myself. So I would cut myself and I would hurt myself in other ways, eventually through the drugs, through the alcohol, even through eating disorders, through punishment, punishing myself because I really felt that's what I deserved. I felt that I was not worthy of love, not worthy of happiness. So I tell you this because we all have our experiences, we all have our stories, and it's very important to become aware and to reflect of what might have happened in our childhood that led to who we have become as adults. And a lot of what happened in my childhood led to me becoming an addict, to me becoming an alcoholic, to me having extreme anxiety throughout my whole life. And so the first step is just becoming aware and reflecting. And so these patterns, these relationships that I first had in high school, these relationships with women bullying me, this relationship with this man who was horrible, who treated me horrible, this started a pattern in my life where I felt like that's what I deserved and that's what I needed. And my body always knew better though. So while my mind had these programming and these stories of this is what you deserve, and this is the story, this is the story of your life. You're not meant to be treated well. You're not meant to have girlfriends. My body knew better. And that's where the anxiety came in.
Many of us live life disconnected from our bodies, feeling out of control and reactive. We lose control of our emotions, scream at our children, the dog, our partners, and this affects our lives negatively. It hurts our relationships and ultimately it hurts us. Breath work has been one of the most powerful rituals that I've developed in building a better relationship with myself, my body, and my emotions. Through breath work, I'm able to move from a reactive state to a proactive state, and this has positively changed my life, my relationships, my health, my career, and ultimately led me on a healing journey. So that's why I'm so excited to announce the launch of my new platform, Ray Rituals, a membership community that offers on-demand breathwork practices that you can integrate into your everyday life to energize, balance, and relax your mind and body while supporting you in healing. Through Ray Rituals, you can build a breathwork practice where you instinctually start to come back to your body and are able to process your emotions and release them. It's an unlearning of what the world has taught you, to push your feelings down, to distract yourself and keep going, but instead, to pause, to breathe, feel, and move. It's simple, it's quick, and it's effective. Join me and sign up for Ray Rituals. It's time to take your power back, one breath at a time, at rayrituals.com.
And I didn't know it at the time. So what is anxiety? The standard definition is essentially when our feelings become overly stressful or excessive. But what does that mean to have excessive feelings? I don't buy it. In fact, I don't believe our feelings can ever be excessive. Our feelings are always trying to tell us something. Our bodies are always trying to tell us something, to warn us, to give us signs. But this world, this society, it makes money. It banks off of us not listening and numbing those signs. Anxiety is your body telling you that something is wrong. It is your body giving you a warning that something does not feel good, something is not aligned, and it needs to change. When we choose to ignore our body, the signs, our anxiety, we choose to suppress it, it comes back 10 times stronger. And eventually, it will lead to an explosion, a panic attack in the case of anxiety. My body was desperately trying to tell me for years to get out of the relationship, to get away from these certain people, to run. It knew. So for that reason, I say anxiety is not a bad thing. It is not something to suppress, to numb with a pill. When you start to listen to your body, to take the cues, when you start to live the life that you're meant to live, the life that your body, your soul, your intuition yearns for, a life that is beyond your mind's imagination, that is your purpose, that is your soul's dharma. That is the goal. And that's how we come into a true happiness, fulfillment, and flow. And the body knows. The body truly is like a compass and it knows how to guide us to the life that we were always meant to live. So I urge you, stop trying to eliminate the anxiety, the feelings. Stop trying to ignore them and start trying to work with them. Start listening, allow them to speak, and only then will they go away. So, how do we do that? How do we sit and listen? How do we allow this process to occur? How do we feel into the anxiety and let it guide us? How do we let our body guide us? One way, one practice I'm going to share with you today to end this solo cast is a breathwork practice. This breathwork is best for stress and for bringing your body back into balance. And it's a breathwork that I share a lot because it has helped me so much and it's easy and you could do it at any time. And it brings you back into balance and it relieves you of all of the anxiety and the stress that builds up in the body. It's called resonant breathing. And it's when you breathe at a rate of 6 full breaths per minute. And you achieve this by inhaling and exhaling for a count of 5. And once you make this a ritual and use it every single day, then when the moment comes up, when you're having that panic attack, when you're triggered, it's very easy to just snap into it and go into your practice, go into your ritual. Pause before you react. We all have those moments when we have the anxiety, the overwhelming feelings when we react, but we don't have these tools. So keep this one in your pocket. Make it a ritual. You can do this in the morning and at night. You don't have to do it just when you need it. Make it a ritual so that your body builds that neural pathway in your brain and so that your body is then ready to use it at any time. I absolutely love this technique. So what we're going to do, you can do this anytime. If you're driving, if you're walking, if you're at home, just relaxing and just sit back. You don't need to close your eyes, but if you want to, you can. Obviously, if you're driving, don't. And you just inhale through your nose for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale through your mouth for a count of 5, 2, and 1. And you continue this breathing pattern for at least 2 to 3 minutes. And in moments that are really extreme and getting to you, and you're having a panic attack, extreme stress, and even when you're in a depression, in a deep moment, practice this technique for 5 to 10 minutes until you're feeling better, until you open your eyes and everything looks brighter, clearer. Do your best when you're doing this breathing to just clear your mind, just focus on the breath and just feel the sensations in your body and feel the air coming in and out through your nose. In for 5. Out for 5. Thanks so much for joining me today and sharing in this story of anxiety, my life. I hope you are leaving this podcast today feeling a little less anxious, a little more equipped. Sending you so much love.